My name is Paul Veck. I work with software companies to help them be successful with Microsoft. I'm really excited today to be joined by Chris Kendrick, CEO, and also Richard Liddington, CTO of Mercury. They're with me today to talk about what they're doing around AI. So time is tight. Let's wade in. Firstly, Chris, welcome. Please tell us about Mercury.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having us on. So Mercury is a born in the cloud ISV. We've been in business now just approaching 10 years. There's about 160 of us now. We're based in the UK, a couple of offices here. We're also over in the US and also in Australia. We've got a single market focus, and that's serving the recruitment and staffing industry. And essentially, we leverage the power of the Microsoft Cloud Platform with the aim of helping recruiters fill their jobs faster and place candidates in the best possible roles.
Super. And obviously, you built an AI solution, which is why you're here today. Why did you build it?
So I suppose some of the problems we're trying to address, first of all, recruitment, and everyone's probably had their interactions with recruiters, is a very difficult game. These people are typically quite time poor. It's quite a stressful role with a lot of activity to do, and it's difficult for them to understand their next best action. They're dealing with very large data sets where sometimes it's quite difficult to understand how to analyze that data, how to interpret it, and where to go next, how to match candidates to the right roles. So essentially what we're looking to do is automate as much as possible for them so that we can make them more efficient, but then to make them more effective, leverage AI. And in doing so there, we looked at the performance of some of our clients, and we could see that they were measuring the time of the first submission of a candidate to a role or the time to interview, and they're measuring those things in days or weeks. And so what we're looking to try and do here with an AI solution is remove the constraints. How can we start looking at that differently? And through automation and AI, look at those large data sets for them, identify the white space, and then get them to their candidates quicker so we can start measuring that in hours and minutes instead of days and weeks.
Love it. So you've actually started with a business challenge, if you like, and the reason for doing this, which is wonderful. So tell us, what have you built?
Yeah, so again, we're dealing with large data sets. Recruiters are rich in that regard, but they find it difficult to work with. And so we've essentially taken the use case that as a recruiter, as a salesperson, I'm going to have a conversation with a hiring client. During that conversation, they're going to give me a lot of information about what that role is. And so we're looking to effectively transcribe that conversation and capture the information so we can turn it into structured data. What we want to do then is essentially break that down and leveraging AI and the cognitive services that are available within the Microsoft Cloud. And it's a combination, as Michael was saying, of the different AI sort of technology available. How we can also then use the powerful AI search capabilities that Azure gives us and then infuse it with generative AI. So we can enrich the data in the best possible way so we can understand the requirement and possibly identify things that weren't said in the call, that we can identify the best candidates on the system, and we can outreach those candidates in the shortest possible time. So again, the goal here would be that as a hiring manager, they would be receiving suitable and arguably the best candidates that we've got available to us within minutes of completing that call.
Love it. So you've built something really compelling, which obviously really impactful. What process did you go through to build it?
At this point, I'm going to hand over to Richard because he's the one that makes all my ideas come to life. So Rich can take us through that.
Yeah, so we wanted to leverage obviously a lot of the different Microsoft Cloud technologies that are available, infuse a number of those AI services to deliver that compelling end-to-end feature, maximising the data available to us and our clients and creating that meaningful data-driven actions, automations and insights. In terms of the technologies involved in what we did, we started using the embedded Teams dialer and the conversation intelligence piece to obtain the call transcripts that were rich in information to facilitate that process automation. Using the automation capabilities from the Microsoft Cloud, in this case Power Automate, with a custom connector to the Azure OpenAI services and GPT-4 models, we created summarized phone call records rather than surfacing the entire transcript. Within that process, we then identified references and information about new vacancies that a client was looking to fill, creating the necessary records automatically within the Mercury solution. Used generative AI via GPT-3.5 Turbo models, again running on OpenAI in Azure. This was then used to augment and enrich the vacancy, fill in the white spaces that Chris was referencing there in the data, such as comprehensive job descriptions, compelling job adverts, skill explainers, giving the user the high quality data to work with when matching the vacancy to candidates and to describe the position. Once we add this, we're able to perform searches automatically against an Azure AI search, previously cognitive search, to identify the best matches with rankings based on the prominence of their skills, job titles, domain expertise, that kind of thing. From there, it was getting actually out and getting in contact with those candidates. So automatically SMSing out to those candidates with a link to the chat interface authored in Copilot Studio, where we could discuss the vacancy and express an interest using a combination of adaptive cards, natural language, extracting key information from the conversation, so we can update the candidate's record where their circumstances has changed. So for those candidates, once they expressed an interest in the vacancy, Gen AI was then used to summarise the candidate's suitability using details in the vacancy, the candidate's CV, their responses through the natural language chat interface, with the recruiter and the hiring manager ultimately being notified of the interest through web portals hosted in Azure.
Love it. So you've gone from ideate to build, and you've built something here. What's next for you in terms of AI?
Yeah, so we've got quite a few different use cases. The one that we've explained so far is the context of a recruitment business filling a vacancy, and there's two different ways that they work. You've either got companies that fill vacancies or those that place candidates. And what we're looking to represent with the next use case is taking the side of the candidate. How can we improve that experience? How can we improve it for all parties here? So as the recruitment agent and the staffing specialist here, how can I create more opportunity for this candidate? And from a candidate's perspective, how can we give them more opportunity with that one supplier, so that they can be best assured that they're going to get the best representation? So we've got some internal sort of use cases which can talk about our approach, but really we're looking at this from both ends of the spectrum now, and that takes us nicely into what we're going to do next week.
Yeah, we've got a hackathon which we're doing for the entire development team, our consultancy team, our data teams. So we've got 70 plus people over 3 days, looking at a number of different use cases, where we're looking to explore how far we can push the envelope when it comes to AI services from Microsoft. I think we're very keen to explore even further how we can use Azure AI search features, getting more into the semantic kernel for a really rich experience from a Copilot perspective. We certainly can see that our main interface for getting in, or for using Mercury could very well be a Copilot, and the old interfaces of what we use today will be a thing of the past. So there's an awful lot of things, and I think again we want to get into that voice-based interaction. So the keyboards again might become a thing of the past, and we'll be talking to the software as opposed to typing in through a keyboard.
That's great. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today. It's been super interesting to talk to someone who's actually doing this, as opposed to the theory. But yeah, thank you so much for your time as part of that.
Thanks, Paul. Okay.